In today's episode, you hear a conversation I had with a Catholic that I met on one of the campuses in Colorado. He was able to find his soulmate, and we also just talked about God and religion and prayer along with the process as well. In the video, you do only see myself, just as we only had one camera at this point in time. If you guys like these types of videos and like the conversations that I have that are just genuine, authentic, because I literally ran into this dude 20 minutes before we ended up having this hour-long conversation. If you want to see more conversations such as this, click that subscribe button, as I released 2 videos at this point in time per week, and I don't want you missing a single one. I hope you guys enjoy this conversation as much as I did.
As I kind of came to that revelation in my head, I was like, I'm open to it, right? Like not my deal, it's God's deal. I saw I closed my eyes and I just randomly saw a white rose, and I had no idea what that was meaning. Like I had no idea what that was about, and I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, but I shit you not. Next conversation I had, I was walking into someone, and they were talking about these certain prayers where you're supposed to get answers through other means, and the means were a red or a white rose. A white rose representing a vocation to fatherhood, or a red rose to priesthood. And I was I just sat there. I was like, okay, awesome. I'll get a girlfriend and get married. That's kind of what I always wanted to do, That's what I always wanted to do, but I'd never let that not be my decision, So fast forward a little bit, that's kind of on my head, and I'm like, okay, cool, but I'm still on this dating fast, right? I'm not in the position. I'm still shamed and afflicted by the things of my past. And I went on this retreat with the Catholic group called OA. It's Ore Digger Awakening, we're the Ore Diggers. And I had a cute girl in my group, and I was just dang, I kind of like her, but dating fast and everything. And it was at this specific moment in the trip where they had a nun and a priest, and then a deacon and his wife. So deacons are allowed to get married after, if they're already married, they can become deacons, but no more. Priests and nuns they're just not allowed to get married. But there was this couple up there, and they were speaking, and I was just some of them were asking how do you know you're ready, and it was perfect because it was someone asking the exact questions that I was wanting to ask, but I wasn't. I was just sitting in the back too scared to ask these questions out loud, and someone was how do you know you're ready? And it was the deacon's wife, and my immediate response in my head to that person asking that question was, I don't think I'll ever be ready. And then her response was me saying that in my head right before she could get out her answer, and her answer was, oh sweetie, you'll never be ready. And I kind of I looked at that and I was like, wow. And I looked to the other side and there's that cute girl. Wow. So I come back from that and I'm that spoke profoundly to me. I even after the entire interview and everything, I made an effort to go up to her, and I was just asking her, you really mean it? You'll never be ready. What do you mean by that? Because I feel so strongly about the way I do, the things that I've done. I can't see me getting past that. And she just looked me dead in the eye, and she was like, what's your name? And I said, Kason. And she's like, Kason, I'll pray for you. So going into the next week, and I was granted, it was the first girl that I really saw because she was in my group. I started developing more feelings for her. I was she's really cute. Now that I'm looking, she's really cute, right? And I was down in the chapel. I was talking to my friend, and I don't know what it was, but I was talking to him, and I was like, do you think I should ask her out? And he was like, Nope, not at all. I do not do that. Like, she actually likes someone else right now, so like you're just asking for her. And like that completely discouraged me. I think it took like a couple of weeks, and I was just like, just bummed, you know. And that didn't stop me from praying. So I was doing like a rosary a day type of thing, and I was just bummed. And I remember every day I kept on praying for her. I was like, you know, like my future spouse. I want it. Like I still wanted it, you know. And at some point, like it kind of started fading off because I was just kind of like losing hope in it. Um, Maybe just her specifically, right? And I remember one day I woke up and I was like, it was just a regular day, you know. I was talking to someone, and we had it was some of the Sisters of Life come over, really great women. But I saw one of them in the chapel praying, and I saw them and I was like, wow, I think that was like one of the first times I've ever just walked in and just saw women in the chapel. You know, like just like stand alone, just like women. Because I mean, you saw it was a small chapel.
Yeah.
It seats like 8 people. I was like, and also here at Mines, it's 30% women, 70% men. So you know, it was just like a cool sight. I was like, you know, I've never actually seen that. Like it took me to actually see a woman in the chapel to realize I've never really seen a woman in the chapel. Long story short, I go in to pray that next day, and so here's the rosary, and I was making my rounds as I usually do, and I make it up. So this one's the Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, and then Glory Be, right? And this bead right here is usually where I get to say like my intentions for the rest of the rosary, right? So I was going through my intentions. I was like, you know, I'm not doing so well in school. Please help me with that. And then I go on to my next intention. I was like, I like to pray for this girl. And then like it's something like kind of in me like changed that one moment. I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna pray for my future spouse, whoever that is. I'm giving it to you. That's your plan, not mine, right? And I was just like, I remember just like that, not giving up, but giving it away. Like I was like, that's not like for me to worry about. That's you. You choose my future spouse. Like I know, I'm pushing really hard for this girl because I like her, right? Like I think she's cute, but like you know, I don't know. You know. So I think I had like one more intention after that, and I go on to the next bead, which is just like a Hail Mary, and like mid prayer I hear like you can see like the little code, so you hear the code getting typed in, and like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to stay focused here because you know it's nice being in there alone, and I mean it's great having other people in there, but sometimes it's a little distracting. But just stay focused. So I make it up to the next bead, and like they're like walking in, they sit down like 2 seats behind me to the right, and I was like, it only took me like one prayer to get like let the curiosity overcome me, and I was like, I have to see who this is. I turn around, it was her. I was like, I remember my heart just dropped. I was like, no way, that just happened. Like I couldn't believe it, and like instantly I'm just shaking. I was like, I can't believe this just happened. I'm like, and I remember like continually trying to pray, and like the Hail Marys, it's like a short prayer, and I can't make it more than 5 words into it. I'm like, I'm completely like just flabbergasted that happened, because like I like that girl, and I knew like what he was telling me at that exact moment. It was like, I'll give you what you want. You just have to let me do it, you know? Because I was just so burdened by like, I want to get with her. I'm gonna ask her out. I was like, no, I let him work, and he just put it right there for me. So eventually, like I'm not getting anywhere in this rosary. So I turned around and I was like, hey, would you mind praying the rosary with me? And she did. And yeah, we prayed the rosary, and then eventually like I asked her out after that, and history is made. Now I'm working a job to get an engagement ring for her. So Because I mean, like, it's very early on. I think we've dated for like 9 months, 10 months now. And I'm already looking for a ring, but it's like, I have that conviction. And it's not because, like, I know. It's because I was told, you know, like, this is the girl.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, people could think I'm maybe, like, immature by thinking that, but. Yeah, and, like, growing and dating her, I've, you know, like, you always, like, talk about those, like, beginning stages. And, like, another thing that was huge for me was I was going to ask her out right after I came back from that trip. And I remember that guy told me, and he completely discouraged me for the 2 weeks. And that led to one thing, me, like, giving it to God. But also, if I would have asked her out at that time, she was like, I would have said no. And we wouldn't have had a relationship. Something was going on in her life that was big for her. And she was like, I couldn't have handled it. I needed that 2-week grace period. And she said yes. Yeah, it was awesome. And it was just knowing that, like, yeah. There's just, like, so many, like, underlying stories in that story of how we first started dating. It was just such an awesome experience.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, if it wasn't for the girl that I was telling you about too, like, I wouldn't have started the whole healing process. Like, I wouldn't have gone down this route. So yeah, it's really, it gives me hope. Where it's like, okay, this.
Yeah.
If I just put it in his hands, like, things will just work out.
Yeah. And it will. Yeah. Dude, it's awesome.
It's crazy.
It's
man.
nice. You just don't even have to live with worry. You know, you kind of just sit back.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, why do you stress about everything?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have to.
Exactly. I'm like, I hear people complain and stress over all these things, and I'm like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, things will just work out. They always do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the time, like, there are times when it might be like, wow, this is terrible. I hate this. Like, feeling alone, feeling sad, feeling whatever way you feel. But, like, just knowing that, like, he always provides. And I look at it in a little bit different terms where it's like, it's not necessarily he's outside of me, it's more like he's within me. So that's where it's like you do have that strength. So like me just trusting in myself and having that faith and being like, okay, I'm not necessarily praying to an outside source, like I'm praying to like an inside source. That's just what I've come to realize, and maybe that's the part that holds me back. Maybe I need to go more like outside, but yeah, I love it. Like I didn't think it was true at first, but it's just like I've seen too many things like that have like made it not true at this point in time.
I got an entire list in my phone of just like every time that like a little God moment happens, I'll keep it in there, and it's just like I feel it start accumulating. You go back and read it, and you're like,
I need to start doing that. Like, it happens often.
So,
like,
dude, it.
And when you're actually aware of it, it's like a boost.
Yeah. Because it'll take like your because like doubts happen to everyone. Like,
yep.
You know. Like it happens to everyone. That's
yep.
probably why I grew so far away in high school, because I was just like what if?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just think of the black abyss, and you're like, that's what awaits me, you know. And it's so easy to get trapped into that, but like you make that list, you know, and you read after it, and you're like, wow, like it's like there's something working, like you
yep.
know. And after like so many things just like that happen to you, and you're like, I refuse to believe otherwise.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, like, so I was in Portsmouth a couple months ago, and originally, so like I'll go back a little bit further. So back in May for my birthday, I went out to the desert, and I just sat out there, and I was thinking, I was visualizing, I was like, okay, I want to have this, like I want to get everybody together, and then once I get everybody together, I'm just gonna go sit by myself, like, because I'm always with people. I was like, let me like do my own thing, like I'll get everybody together, sit away. So I ended up going down to New Hampshire for like a sales trip type of thing, and I'm having like a good conversation with all these people, like having a great time. And then my boss, he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I was like, okay, like, what did I do? And he's like, you're making people feel uncomfortable. And I was like,
okay.
I was like, okay. And I was like, this is so weird. So I was like, we were going on this boat cruise later that night, and I was like, all right, so let me think about this, because after he said that, I was like, maybe there's some truth to it. So like I go around and I'm asking other people questions and doing all these other things, and I was like, okay,
I get it. Like, I don't see where it's at. Like, I went back to every person that I talked with, had a conversation with them. Nothing felt off. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So we get on the boat cruise, and I just grab my drink, and I just go right down. And before we even got on there, too, he's just like, don't worry about the thoughts and minnows. And I was like, I didn't even think about that. And I get down on the boat cruise, and I'm sitting down, like, on the bottom of the deck by myself, just looking out. Like, I wasn't going to jump off the back of the boat or anything like that. Like, that's just not who I am. But I'm sitting there, and then, like, the captain comes down, and he just starts talking with me, like, just out of the blue. Just super nice guy. And I look at his wrist, and it's like, St. Michael, protect us in battle. And I was just like, what? Okay. And I didn't know who St. Michael was at first, so I look it up, and then the person that I believe was the one that ended up, like, ratting on me, she had lots of snakes and, like, venomous animals and all these other things, and I'm like, the symbolism, I'm like, it's kind of there. Yeah. Because, like, when I ended up leaving the boat that night, too, she and him were staying together, and he just gives me a hug. He's like, hey, I got you. I'm here for you, brother. And I was like, I appreciate that. But, and like, I got all emotional. Like, it was probably one of the best things that had happened. And he's like, I'll come back down and check on you a little bit later. A couple out, like, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, something like that, one of the other guys that I was talking with, he ended up coming down. And I was like, he did come back down and chat with me, just in, like, a different person type of thing. And I absolutely love that. But after seeing that, that was the moment where I was like, okay, yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm like, that's why I'm like, I'm always protected, no matter what, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, like, I'm always protected. So that's why I'm not too worried, like, about the relationship. Like, maybe I just do have to take that step back and just be like, all right. But I still do have that faith, because, like, I was much more into the mentality of, like, oh, I want to have all these women, I want to be around all these people. But I just, every single time that I think about just, like, the one, like, I'll watch, like, a rom-com or something like that, I just get, like, emotional. I'm like, okay, I just want, like, I just want that one that I can spend the rest of my life with.
Oh my gosh, you know what movie does it for me?
Which one?
Instant Family.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Dude, it's so good. Have you guys seen it?
No. Write it down.
So good.
Instant Family.
It's Mark Wahlberg. I will watch that movie, like, alone. And I'm like, I think someone asked me the other day, when's the last time you cried? And I was like,
I'm like, last night?
I watched that movie, like, this morning, bro.
Right? I'm like, dude. I didn't have emotions for the longest time. Like, alexithymia. You're colorblind to your emotions.
I have watched it. I love that movie.
It's such a good movie.
I just forgot the name of it. It was the one where they, like, adopted 2 kids, right?
3 kids, yeah.
3 kids? Yeah. I love that one. It was so good. He's also seen it. I guess nobody just knows the name of it.
Yeah.
Maybe you have too.
I might have, for all I know. I like the one with Adam Devine. No, not Adam Devine. The guy who played in Workaholics. Adam, and I can't think of his last name. No, not in Workaholics. I don't know if you ever saw Workaholics or not.
I've seen it, but I don't.
He's in a couple of other movies, but he like time travels back to the past because he thought he found the one, like the girl. So he tries to change who he is, his personality. Like, he tries to change his outfits, his clothes, his costumes to get the one. And every single time it just blows up in his face. Yeah. And then when he comes back and he finally is just like who he is naturally, the girl that he thought he was supposed to fall in love with wasn't actually the one, and it was her friend. And I was like, that one gets me every single time. But yeah, I was always under the impression that I needed to have all these other women, and I'm just like, I just want the one. Like, it's just like having her to come home to chat with, like, us have kids with, if that's what it's meant to be. But it's also like I want to be able to provide for her, and, like, provide for all of us. Yeah. So it's like I kind of have to give up certain aspects. Like, I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I always give the reference to, like, for him to be able to go on an Avatar state, he had to give up Katara, even though they still did end up being together. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I have to give up all these other things to be able to, like, get to that next level on my spiritual journey. But yeah, it's tough, dude. It gets easier, and luckily you didn't have to, like, suffer for years to be able to get to this point. It sounds like you found a lot earlier.
There's some suffering. There was just a lot of
sunshine.
Yeah, it wasn't all sunshine. And like even now, like, you still have to, like, work through those things, because I mean,
the good stuff.
My girlfriend now is just, like, such a pure person, and I have such, like, a shady past that it's like, I mean, there's definitely still a lot of, like, tough conversations we have to go through, like, and not, like, necessarily go through, like, we've been through all of them, but there's still a lot of, like, pain there. Like, from both sides, you know. There's a lot of hurt on my side, just because, you know, and there's a lot of hurt on her side, too, because it almost feels like betrayal, you know. I don't even know you yet, but it was betrayal, you know. So, I mean,
That's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. Just,
working through it, though, you know.
right? I mean, that's all you can do. And that's why I do the content, is because I'm like, if we're working through it, there's probably other people out there that are also working through it as well too.
Yeah.
And being able to share these types of stories and these interactions, I think would, one, give people hope, and then inspire them to be like, all right, if I just have this faith, or if I just trust in things that I can't see, and I constantly pray, like, it'll be great. Because like maybe I was praying. I've never used that word. I've just been like, I just look within, like I meditate, like that's always been the word that I use. So like I'd sit on the edge of my bed each night, and I'd just be like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? Like, the money wasn't bringing me happiness anymore. The work wasn't bringing me fulfillment. I didn't like what I was doing. So I was like, let's just put it in God's hands, see what we can do from there. And he always provides, like, for those that are willing to be courageous. So, and even for those that aren't willing to be courageous, I feel like he still will too. Just that first act, dude, that first step's always the hardest.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things that we have to do as people.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about him. I mean, the man behind you, like, you know, just having a baby, there could be like a lot of like money issues or like just stress in that area.
Yeah.
And you have a biochem degree, or?
Dude, I studied biochem to be a Catholic missionary.
Yep.
Who would have thought?
I find that very courageous.
Yeah.
You know, because like, you work so hard for something, and like there's probably a lot of potential in that degree. You know, to make a lot of money.
But it's also like the money's just
Become a focus missionary.
it's a byproduct.
Fundraiser salary.
Fundraising
They say
salary.
it's the most stable salary you'll ever have because people want to give. But your mystery pot of money might disappear in a big company.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I just went down the sales route because I was like, if I ever need to find work, like, I can always just sell myself or sell somebody else's product. So it's like, it's nice. Part of me does want to be like, let's just drop everything and go preach in a sense, but it's also like, I can't just preach, kind of like Greg was saying. It's like, you just kind of have to do things that is nice for them, and then let people make their own decision. Because if there was a girl that she didn't want to date me because I wasn't religious at the time, and I got so upset and angry and resentful over that. I was like, all right, I'm never gonna do this again.
Yeah.
But then I've also found like one of my really good friends. She's super, and she never pushed it. Like, she was just nice. She was just kind. Like, she just cared. And then another friend of mine, she brought me to Brave Church for their first Tuesday.
Okay.
And dude, I absolutely loved it. How they had like all the music playing, all the songs, and I was like, this is just
Yeah.
seeing everybody get together in one place.
I'm in now.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Greg.
Well, it's good to meet you. Well, great to meet you. Hopefully I get to chat with you guys at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be coming to Mines anytime soon again?
Anytime you want to have us.
Well,
You got my number.
That I do.
I'll just share contact with you.
Yeah.
If you want to go on the podcast, just let him know, and we'll be here.
Always like, yeah.
Instantly.
Toss yours in
Sweet.
and I can shoot you a message with my name.
What? You saying hello?
338 60 720 338 338 60 30.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll message it right now.
Awesome. How old are you?
He is almost 4 months.
Ooh. Big strong boy.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps you guys up at night, I'm guessing.
You know, he's been okay, but we're sleep training right now, so we kind of have to let him cry a little bit at night
Oh.
to let him learn how to put himself to sleep.
Yeah.
So now he keeps us awake for a couple hours every night.
Yeah, my parents did that for me one night, and then ever since then, like, they're like, he never cried after that.
You know, he was putting himself to sleep well before, but he learned how to roll over, so we had to change up how we swaddled him.
Mm-hmm.
And now he doesn't really like it as much, but you have to learn how to do it through that.
First kid, too, I'm guessing?
Are you not cold and shorts?
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, 2 younger sisters.
You
Nah.
Your cats are insane.
I'm
dude.
sure
Thank
we'll
you.
see.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
love
that
to.
while walking down
Awesome.
here,
You too,
just,
Greg.
like, watching you
God
walk,
bless.
just, like with these humongous legs, like just my
Man, I
gym
appreciate
moves right
that.
there.
Yeah, so
Do you work out?
so I did powerlifting for like 4 years, and then just
Sure.
recently, this is my first week back. So that's a nice compliment.
My man.
Well timed, thank you.
problem.
Because I had to give it up for like school and stuff. I was
Yeah.
just like at the point where I was just like, I can't handle all this So
Yeah,
the gym was the one to go because it felt the most selfish of me.
Dude, that's the one thing I won't let go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need the gym. Like I've been running lately, some sort of cardio, just any sort of movement.
He's shredded. You can't see it because of the hoodie, but he has some shredded abs.
Oh
like,
yeah. I
Shit.
believe it.
I did powerlifting for a while too, so
Yeah.
I loved it. But I was just like, it was too much strain on my body.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
I got 2 herniated discs in my back, and I'm scared of squatting now.
Yep. That was my fear. I was like, do I want to squat and live for the rest of my life, or would I rather impress a couple of people once and then be screwed for the rest of my life?
Impress a couple of people once.
there you go.
Yeah, because I did the whole Squattober thing where I got my squat up to like 425, and then
Heck yeah.
did my deadlift and got that up to 500, and then bench I only got up to 3, and I shouldn't say only, I got up to 3. I wanted 3 plates, but just 15 pounds shy. Probably could have done it, but I didn't want my ass lifting off the bench like
Yeah.
a whole like
Yeah.
peak of a mountain or something like that. So yeah, I've gone back to the whole more bodybuilding type of training.
Yeah.
I like it more.
It's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
As long as it's not CrossFit.
No. No CrossFit. The funny thing too is I was telling the guys earlier today, I was like, yeah, maybe today we'll just run into some random person, we'll go back to his place and we'll have a conversation. And
Yeah,
then
dude.
yeah, that's what I said today. But I said like somebody,
My memory is just not doing it today.
because like everybody, like we're all our own main characters. Like we're all
Yeah.
like, so we get to decide what we want to do every single day. Too often people I think are living in this whole world of like NPCs and like not making their own decisions and just
Yeah.
going with the flow. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that anymore. Everybody's telling me to do this or do that, and I'm like, well, what do I want?
Isn't it crazy how much you feel like more in a day? Like just by the end of the day, you're like, this is kind of what like childhood felt like.
Yeah.
Because it was like every day, like in your childhood, you were like, this is a new day. You know, like,
Yep.
you just had that excitement. Like, wonder what today holds for me, and then like, that's the bad thing with adulthood is you kind of just get there and you're like, I'll go to
Same
school
old
again
thing.
today. You know,
Mhm.
it's just like the same thing.
It's a whole system.
Yeah.
that, like, why would I want to do that? It's not even the system I want.
Yeah.
You go to school, or you get a job, same thing, day in, day out, and I'm just like, there's more to that. I'd rather have the spontaneity, like the randomness, like who am I gonna run into today?
Thank you.
Later, man.
I'm still trying to get used to his spontaneousness. I'd just be chilling.
Yeah.
Next second, I know he's gone. He's trying to talk to someone. I gotta like record, chase after him.
I'm just like, because otherwise I'd be doing this by myself, and I'd just be having a GoPro, and I'd just be going around. It's like the only reason I record the things too is because, one, for prosperity's sakes, and two, I think it's a good way to see like this is how people are every day. Like they showed me Sam Solik online, and he's a much more like genuine dude, like just massive guy. But I mean, he just talks.
Yeah.
Like that's just
Yeah.
what he does.
He's so real.
So I'm just
Yeah.
like, I originally we came out here with a plan of like doing this type of content, and I'm just like, that's not me. Like I don't want to go with these whole viral trends, and I'd rather just have conversations with like people of faith, people of spirituality, just people in general about whatever conversation seems to like intrigue me for the day,
Yeah.
and then just kind of go forward from there. Because everybody has intrinsic value, everybody has something to say, and I think
Yeah.
some people lose that. Like I've lost it because of certain things that people have said. It's like, oh, you shouldn't be able to do this, or you shouldn't do that, or it's like, it sucks. I'm still trying to figure the whole thing out, but it's just like if you just let go of those expectations that you maybe have for the day,
Yeah.
everything just becomes so much more enjoyable. Like I didn't expect running into you. I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, let's figure it out.
I was just walking out of the gym.
And then you
Making my
tell
way down.
right? And then you tell me the story about like how you met your girl. I was like, it's things that I would say I pray over like all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
I know she's out there. Like whatever I'm doing. Like the other day, like part of me thinks like I very well could have been at the gym, and she was just like, she very well could be staying right next to me every single day, which was like, I don't know. And that's why I went down like the whole red pill route, was because I was like, let me just talk to every single one so I can get used to every single one.
Yeah.
Just have those conversations. But then I would also kind of do things that I don't think internally I should have been doing. So, but it's like I had to do them to be able to learn that that wasn't who I was. Whereas compared to me being like, well, maybe if I stick with this, maybe this will be the type of person that I am. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm more of like, I just want one girl, one faith, like just have that and figure out how it goes from there. Because otherwise it's just, dude, I just don't see the point in it otherwise. Like, having that one girl that I can just spend the rest of my life with, having me be able to come home to her, see her, like she sees me, we support one another, like we can go out and do things. Like that's more of what I find, like it brings me so much happiness just like thinking about it. But it's also like I don't have to. It's like I also want to come out and work and like talk with other people, and like I can't have her hold me back from that.
Yeah.
So that's why I still think that the girl that I was telling you about earlier, I think she's still growing, and maybe she is the one. Maybe God will just kind of plop her in my hands, because like the other girl that I told you that I ran into yesterday, I'm like she would have been the one that killed me. Like she would have been the death immediately. Like, and I was like no. So like even today I was talking with this one girl, and part of me was like I shouldn't get her Instagram, but then another part of me was like I should, just because like it's more of like, let me just show like other people like, hey, this is how easy it is to like get somebody's information, and like you can become friends or start dating or whatever it is from there. But then there's the other part of me where it's like, well, I made this promise to her that like she was going to be the one that I was going to marry, even though I don't talk to her. And it's like so it's tough. I'm still working on it, and that's why I'm saying like I still have karmic debts that I have to repay, and realize that like I can't be doing this all the time. It's tough. But it's what I signed up for. I told God at the beginning that I would bear the biggest burden that I could bear. So that's what I'm doing.
That's all you can do.
Right?
Yeah. And like back to the burden thing, like I always tell people, like it really just doesn't matter like where you're at, you know, because like people talk about like St. Paul, so he was probably one of the like largest like he went everywhere, you know, he spread the faith everywhere, but before his occupation was killing Christians.
Really?
Yeah. And like at some day there was just like that switch, and he was like, no. And like a lot of people will tell you like the shame and the guilt, that's one of the devil's tools to keep you locked where you are, like tell you you're not good enough to find this, you know, like and the issue is you tell yourself it, you know.
So you gotta have that, like, dude, guilt and sorrow, shame, like they're the most powerful emotions. Like us as men, we're never told or taught about those emotions. Like it's just like, just bear it, like just suck it up, just man up. It's like, well, what if I want to feel these things? What if I want to show this weakness? And I don't consider showing emotion weakness at all. I used to, but now it's just like, feel the grief. Don't allow the devil to control you. And that's when I see these other women come in, and I was telling that to them the other day too. They're like, why didn't you get a number? And I was like, because that's the devil trying to like sway me the other way. And they're like, don't bring God into this. And I was like, bro, but like, he's like, she's bad. I'm like, yeah, dude, but like she's a distraction.
Most beautiful women I've ever seen. This man didn't even take 1 second to think about it. I turn around, he's gone. He was like, I'm gonna go talk to her. I was like, okay. I grabbed my backpack. I turn around, he's gone.
Like, that's the hard part for me, is because like me doing those things can hopefully inspire other men to go out and like do those things as well, to like approach people, like face their fears. And it's like, I don't do it in the means of like, I'm trying to hook up with you. It's just like, this is just who I am. Like, I'm just making friends. Like, I'm just asking a question type of thing. And other people, they just don't. I was worried, like, if I get, like, when I do maybe get up the courage to ask her out again, and maybe I don't even ask her out, maybe I'll figure that out. Or God will figure that out, who knows. But like, that's the tough part, is because do I just leave it and never do that, never approach another woman again type of thing? But it's like, that's part of who I am. I'm not gonna, like, there's been plenty of women that I'd love to sleep with. I don't though. Like, I'm just like, no, they're just friends of mine or something like that. Like, so if my girl's uncomfortable with me doing that, then like, I don't know what else to say. But it's also one of those, it's tough. It's tough. Still trying to figure that out. Thought it just popped in. I was watching Rick and Morty the other night, and they were in like one of those cement roller mixture things. But yeah, dude, this whole, women are tough, and it sounds like you've figured it out, like, you know, but like,
I mean, I don't. You know? Like, are you asking me if I understand women?
Yeah, a little bit.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Men are not capable of understanding women. Our brains don't function that way.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just, like there's such a beautiful like parallelism between like your relationship with God in your relationship with a woman, you know?
Yep.
And, like, I'm not supposed to understand God. I'm not supposed to understand infinity. I'm not supposed to understand, like, the vast power he holds. I'm not supposed to understand a woman. Or whatever goes on in their head. No, but, like, we're different, but in the same.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, in religion, like, we're alive. We're different. But, like, we're created in this image. We're the same. But we are different,
Yep.
you know? Those are just things to celebrate those differences.
Right.
And,
That's what
yeah.
makes us human. That's why I love
Yeah.
talking with people. Everybody shows their differences. For the longest time, though, I didn't think that my words had value. Like, so I would always just ask questions. Like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Instead of me being like, okay, yeah, no, I don't think that. You're right there. But it's
Yeah.
also like, I also want to challenge and allow people to come to their own conclusion. As if I tell somebody, I've told that before, where I'm like, hey, I don't think you should do this any longer. Like, to my dad, I was like, you're drinking too much, and he got all upset. So, like, I found out, like, you can't tell people, like, what to do, what to believe. They have to come to that decision themselves.
Yeah.
And that's
But
what,
questions are a great way of doing that.
exactly.
Because a lot of people don't ask themselves those things.
Yep.
You know?
That's why I was thinking about taking, like, a coaching route, so I can, like, coach people
Yeah.
instead of, like, because I still need to have an income come in. Like, I still
Yeah.
I still want to have like the 6 to 7 figures a month type of thing.
Mhm.
Like, that's just something that I want to do.
month?
Yeah, a month. Why not?
Okay.
Sure.
Like, who says that it's not possible? Like, that's something that
I was
I
thinking
like you
8
to think
figures,
about.
honestly.
I mean, if you want to, like, I mean, by all means.
Alex says it's not possible.
No, yeah, it's the only
Within the next
limitations.
2 years.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does take time. You can accelerate it, but yeah, it does take time. The only limitations you have are the limitations you set on yourself. So if you stop setting those limitations, then, like, there's
Yeah.
so many more opportunities that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted the wealth, and maybe that's something that, like, I'm just kind of giving it away right now. I'm just like, we'll just let whatever happens happen.
Are you okay?
We're distracted by money.
I saw the bunny too. He was scratching his leg before earlier.
There's a bunny. That makes sense. Hold on. Let me get that.
Good luck, bunny.
Don't shoot the bunny bird.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Like, I just want to have more genuine conversations like this. Like, just
Yeah.
random people that I meet, just chat with them,
Yeah.
hang out with you guys again, type of thing. Like, I've talked with the dude out in Germany a couple of times as well too. Like, him and I, we'll have like 3.5 hour podcasts or so, like, just chatting.
Such a good view.
Yeah.
What?
The colors in the background, we got the green,
nice.
the red. Like, it just comes together beautifully.
And I'm like, I don't know how many people want to be on camera or want to be like part of it. So it's just something that I have to ask. Plus,
Oh,
it's
I
just
know.
like, yeah. Okay.
Once in a while.
I'm like,
And we've been recording this whole time. I wanted to record like both audios just so like we could save this moment because I could tell it was just gonna be a wonderful conversation. It's very valuable. Like even if we don't share, like sometimes go back listen to it. And also the mic's batteries are about to die. The camera's batteries at 20%. Like everything is
yeah.
slowly going down. Just so you're aware of it.
Okay. I mean, I'm just having a good time chatting, so I'm like, even if it's not recorded too. But yeah, no, like, I appreciate the heads up, so thank you. Yeah, no, I like not having plans for the day, like being like a child, like you're saying. Just waking up, it's a new day.
Yeah.
Stress some people the fuck out, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a fine line between stressing over that or just finding the joy.
Yep.
And it is a nice thing because, like, I feel like that's where the joy in the day comes from. Is that you just don't know what's gonna go on today.
Yeah.
Um,
Because, like, do you think so, like, kind of a little bit tying back, do you think your brother would want to have some sort of, like, coaching around content, or is he just wanting to have a little bit of, like, do you know?
I don't know. So he's. I think it's more faith driven.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I maybe just ask him.
Yeah, I'll chat with him.
If
I
he
just
needs
hope
the
he's not too
cameraman-
shy to like begin it, you know. Because I mean, obviously he doesn't know you. I just introduced you
Hey.
over text. So
Dude,
that's not.
If he needs a cameraman, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Well, like, we talked with some dude earlier today, too. Very closed off, very reserved. Like, he was just like, he seemed like he was like, he doesn't want to talk to you type of thing. But I just chatted with him for a bit.
He'll want to talk to you. I'm just hoping like more so about the opportunity to
Mhm.
talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, I think like once you get him in a room, Like, you guys will have plentiful things.
It's
to
just
talk
getting him in the
about.
room is yeah.
Just getting him in the room. Like, understand, like, because, like, you guys are up here. I don't think he's going to, like, drive up here or anything.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind going down to the Springs. We
were just
yeah.
there, man. I drove all the way to you.
Yeah, he
With
drove
us.
all the way down, which was
And
nice.
I was perfectly happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's more so, like, just starting running, you
Yeah.
know? Just getting it going.
Well, I guess I also should ask too, is because like I can talk with him about that, but like with you going part time, like what are you wanting to do? Like afterwards, do you know?
So I'm working. I'm technically part time, but not necessarily part time.
Mhm.
It's a hard school,
Yeah.
and I think like I just need more time to like be able to focus on the classes that I am taking.
Mm-hmm.
Because like what I'm doing right now is I have a solid 3 classes, and then one of them like kind of just, you know, like it just doesn't get any of my attention,
Yeah.
and I just don't like that. So I'd rather just do less classes well, you know.
Yep.
So
Because do you know what you're gonna do once you're graduated then, or is it
some type of mechanical engineering.
okay?
We'll see.
Yeah.
My goal is, like, yes, I do like find joy in like what I do, like mechanical engineering, like, woo, yeah,
Mhm.
great. But like I think what I'll find more joy in is, or like my goal, you know, like my big dream picture is like finding a job that'll be good enough that I'll good pay and I'll be home on time and play with the kids. You
Yeah.
know, like that's like if I have a dream, like that's it, you know.
Yep.
Like that, it's not what I do, it's how long I have to do it, you know.
Yeah. I've always asked myself the question is how can I get more by doing less?
Yeah.
Like that's always been because it's like there's opportunities out there, and too often I think people think like, oh, I need to work for an hourly wage,
Yeah.
but it's like I don't think the right way to do it. Like
Yeah.
work hard for 3 to 6 months or something like that.
Mhm.
Get as much as you need to. Spend the rest of the year like 9 months doing something
Yeah.
else, creative or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
raising the kids because that's like too often. That's a fear of mine. I'm like I don't want to be the parent that like has kids and then never sees them again.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like I actually want to raise my kids. I don't
Oh,
want to have
yeah.
somebody else raising them. Like me
Oh.
and my mom, like we're gonna be there type of thing. Like that's
Yeah.
just how it works.
And like that's the best way just to like rekindle like the childlike behavior in yourself is just do it with your kids, you know, like what better opportunity
Exactly.
than when it's socially acceptable. You know?
Right.
Because I could act like a kid like wherever I go now, you know.
Yep. Might get some weird looks, which I've gotten some weird looks
Yeah.
from people, but I'm like
Yeah.
that's on them. Like just the other day, like like I don't care. Like we were at Wash Park and I was like, hey, watch this. You guys are like, what do you mean? And I was like, just walk. And I just walk up, laid right down in front of a lady. She looks back a couple of times and I'm just like,
You
gosh.
just went to the middle of the walkway and just laid down.
Stood
You ever
back
seen
up.
Practical
I was like-
Jokers?
Yeah.
Me and my brothers used to play that as a kid, and they would be like, okay, yeah. Okay, well, so we'll do this thing. And then I would be the first to go. And then I would go. I would do whatever it was, and they would be like, yeah, I think we're done playing now. They would just stop. I was like, no, that's not fair. They're like, we're done. We're tired of this now. That's bull.
It's like, come on. Come on. That's how I grew confidence. Like that's how I like understood that like I can't worry about what you think of me. I can't worry about what they think. Like I just can't worry about those things.
Yeah.
I can worry about what I think of myself
Yeah.
and go from there. I can believe like I could try to change anybody's opinion, but like at the end of the day, like they're gonna think what they want to think.
Yeah.
So why should I worry and put all this emphasis and
Yeah.
thought onto those things that are out of my control?
Especially like I just went to a Broncos game on Sunday.
Mhm.
Like me and my girlfriend went, and I can't remember the situation, but I remember like it came up. We were like, we are never gonna see these people ever again.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. I don't know if I did something embarrassing. I probably did. I don't know.
That's why like I need.
But
to-
you know
Yeah.
the situation. You're like it doesn't matter what
No.
I do. Like as long as I'm not doing something wrong.
Yep.
You know.
And like everybody has, that's also subjective to a certain extent. Like some people think that one thing is wrong, or another person would be like, "Well, that's not the wrong thing to do. Like that's just
Mhm.
how it is." I think there are universal things that you should follow.
Yeah.
Like, but other than that, like if I want to go up and say ask somebody to get in front of them in line, like, and maybe that embarrasses them, or like do something odd and weird. It's just like,
Yeah.
if you're embarrassed, like, okay, like,
Yeah. And that was cool. So that roommate you met, that was walked down to the chapel.
Yeah.
David, right? He's taken some class that, to be honest, I don't really know what it was. I listened when he was talking about it. I forgot it. But the other day he was walking upstairs, and like halfway up the stairs, I just hear screaming, and I run over. I'm like, oh my gosh, he okay? He's like, yeah. He's like, just breaking social norms. I was like, okay. I was like, that's. He was like, yeah, like the class challenges you to just do something that like that's just
yeah.
not on your everyday schedule. Like you just screamed.
Yep.
He was like, I felt like it. And I was like, that's awesome, you know, because like how many times a day do you just really want to scream, you know, and you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
I thought that was so cool. I was like, I love that, you know.
Well, it's not even screaming. How many times a day do you want to do something, and you don't?
Yeah.
Because you're worried. Oh, how am I going to be perceived?
Yeah.
What is somebody going to think if I do this thing?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, what would I think if I did this thing?
Mhm.
How would I feel if I tried it?
Yeah.
Where would I be? And it's like, huh. That kind of shifts it to like
Yeah.
giving me back the power instead of somebody else that's outside of my control.
Mhm.
That's why I've always been like, well, what can I do? Instead of like, oh, what would this person think if I did this or whatever it may be. And switching that mentality to like myself, it brings me a lot of clarity.
Mhm.
And just like, because yeah, there's too many social norms. I would always stand in an elevator the opposite way. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
That's just what I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not thought of that one. Okay.
Yeah, so instead of looking at the door, like just turn around, especially if it's a full elevator, that's when it's real awkward. But it's like, this is what I'm doing. And then you get out, you walk on, you continue with your day. Maybe if you're with people that you know, they'll be like, why'd you do that? It's just like, "Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you do it? Type of thing. We were talking about that too, is like, people will ask why all the time. And I've just been like, because I wanted to do that. Like, you don't have to have a reason to do anything. Just do it because you felt like doing it.
Yeah.
Like your roommate screaming up at the top
Yeah.
of his lungs. I'm like, I'd do that any day of the week. And those are things that I like. Maybe we should do a video too, like where it's just like I'm just running around, laying around, like
Just
doing
doing
weird,
anything, yeah.
doing weird things. People,
Climb a tree.
yeah. I mean, why not? Climb a tree, pour water on my head. I don't know, pour water on my head
Yeah.
out of the blue, like.
Have you you guys ever heard of Exodus 90?
Sounds familiar.
All right, so Exodus is obviously a book in the Bible, but
That-
this is
that I
like
was
a,
aware of.
This is like a
That's why
program.
it's-
So this
Mhm.
is a program where you're like, it's for men, solely just men.
Mm-hmm.
I think women have something their own, but we don't care about that because we're men.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool thing. So it's about breaking those social norms, but also just be like growing in manhood,
Mm-hmm.
like with the Lord. So like you're reading the book of Exodus, so that's kind of where it got its name from. But you're doing things like cold showers every day. Like you're not allowed on the like internet. Like you're not allowed to like watch like videos unless if it's for like work or like
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm just gonna look up all of them.
It sounds like my already routine.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Just
it's
read Exodus every day. Really good.
I mean, if I'm already doing it without reading it, like, isn't that even?
Now
well,
it's
I'm
just
sure there's
90.
something in
It
here.
loses
So
all
there's
meaning. There's no
so you have to
Exodus,
do your
it's just
readings.
90 now.
It's a holy hour every day, so you have to spend 1 hour in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of your day, you have to examine your day. You have fraternity meetings, so you have like a group that you do it with, and you guys all hold each other accountable. So you have that once a week, and then you also have like an anchor, so to speak. You check up with them every single night. Cold showers. You're not allowed to eat meat on Fridays. So-
Why?
So like
I love meat.
yeah, just not on Friday. It's just like a fasting thing. So like, it's like an extension of Lent. For I don't know if you know what Lent is.
So, you give something up for 30 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also like one like built-in thing is
Mhm.
no meat on Fridays.
Okay.
So instead of doing that for the 40 days of Lent, you do it for the 90 days of Exodus.
So yeah, I was just telling them on the way up here. I did a food meditation
Mhm.
where
Mm,
now I
it's
just can't eat that food for as long as I
Tofu.
choose.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying
yeah.
to find the full
Maybe
discipline
Tease
list.
yourself with some vegan chicken.
Let me just Google it maybe.
I do like the process of Lent and all like giving up things, because it's like your life continues on even if you don't like eat meat on
Yeah.
Friday, or if you don't have
Yeah.
this for 40 days, or if you don't have this for 10 days or whatever it is. It's like your life's still gonna continue.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be any worse or any better off. Like
It's gonna be
that you
so
don't
much
get
worse.
to eat pasta anymore. Like
Awful.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. Here's
yeah, you're telling me, bro.
My stepmom makes the best pasta you will ever eat in your life.
You gotta try your stepmom's pasta when y'all talk again.
Yeah.
I found the
we
full
gotta
list.
Found it?
suss out.
Yeah, so it's take cold showers, practice regular intense exercise, get a full night's sleep, abstain from alcohol, abstain from sweets and desserts, abstain from eating in between meals, so no snacking. You have 1, 2, and 3, or maybe 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Wait,
Like
no
whatever your meals are, you
alcoholism?
have those meals, and it's intentional.
Yep.
Abstain from television, movies, and televised sports. None of that. Abstain from non-essential material purchases, so you're actually not like even allowed to go shopping. Like if it's
Whoa.
not like you can go get groceries.
Yeah, you get food. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only like the things you need.
This is why
Yeah.
it's fermented. It's
Yeah.
a
Yeah. You can only listen to music that's uplifting to the soul. So mostly just Christian music.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a point where like I got deep into that and I was like, what do I listen to in the gym? So
How'd that go?
I found I made a Christian rap playlist. So that's alright. There's Christian rap that
Really?
exists.
Yeah, I
it's
was
actually
like-
not bad. Like
I haven't heard of it yet.
yeah, there's a couple of good artists out there. My favorite artist, who necessarily isn't like a full Christian rapper, he dabbles a little bit in everywhere. Have you ever heard of NF?
Yeah.
I
That-
love
bro.
it.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
talking to you earlier, I was like with all like the creativity and everything, I bet you listen to him.
Dude, his,
You know?
his last album, bro, has like.
Oh my gosh,
dude,
it's so
I
good.
love it.
It's so good. I went and saw him in concert.
Really?
He came, yeah, it's
He's the first artist
We
that I've
gotta go
ever
to
like felt an emotional like
like
connection.
die hard
yeah.
for it. Yeah.
I was
same
just
here.
like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, his music is yeah. I'm appreciative that I found his music.
yeah.
Is he would his be considered Christian rap then?
So
or is
he has
his-
like certain songs.
Mhm.
So like on that new album, Happy.
Yeah, that
I
one-
consider that one
Okay.
a Christian song.
Dude, that
I'll-
song
I'll
is
listen
like,
to
bro,
that on Exodus.
yeah.
Cause like I mean it does something for me.
Oh,
you know, 'cause it's,
100%.
Like the beginning of the song is like,
Dear God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
been a couple
like
of
I
years.
kind of keep on living in this like continual
This is
like disparity. This just like where I push everyone away,
Yeah.
including you. Like how long has it been since I've talked to you?
Yeah.
Type of, like and that's exactly what he says in the beginning of the song, and it's true. Like whether like it's been years, like he says in the song, or it's been like a day, like regardless if it feels like a long time, it's been a long time.
I appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Comment "I believe in miracles" below, so I know that you made it to the end of the episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.